We've got some breaking news coming straight out of Helldivers HQ as they have made a near instantaneous course correction from yesterday's patch update, reverting the most controversial of those changes. What has happened, and also what does it mean for the game? Well, stick around because I've got you covered on all fronts. If you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe and ring that notifications bell to receive my future upload alerts. And now, let's dive into all the latest from Helldivers. I had some viewers worried about yesterday's video talking about the patch changes, almost like they thought I was crashing out, and let me reassure you, I am far from reaching that point. Now, like I said, I genuinely believe you can love something while still maintaining the ability to be critical of it. And to that point, Arrowhead just made a major announcement concerning the Rupture Strain. Here's what it says. Our patch yesterday, combined with other issues regarding the balance of the Rupture Strain, have made them function in a way we did not intend. We're going to take the Rupture Strain offline at 6 p.m. today, CEST, that's 12 p.m. in your local time zone. No other units will be affected. The improved Rupture Strain will be back online in 5 weeks. So it looks like Arrowhead took in the feedback and has decided to pull back just a bit and put the Rupture Strain back in the development garage for some much needed tinkering and alterations. Now, I know this decision is already stirring it up in the community, which I did want to touch on. And before I do, drop a comment about your initial thoughts on this decision to table the Rupture Strain as I just read it to you. Was it a solid move? Was it a bad decision? Are you indifferent? And also, make sure to include the reasons why you feel that way. Because it's important that we swing back around and discuss the why in this topic. Why exactly did Arrowhead take down the Rupture Strain? And even though they don't actually say it specifically, I'm guessing it's probably 99% to do with the host-client issues when it came down to the Warriors, and maybe, like 1% to do with how the Rupture bugs can seemingly burrow through solid rock and destroy things like turrets and even divers. And believe me, I was reading comments from yesterday's video, along with various social posts from players that were saying things like, the Warrior bugs were nothing, they're hella easy, whining players want an easier game, etc., etc., But then I started up a conversation with a few of those that had actually responded like that, and when we really started to get down to the details, well, everything wasn't as they thought it was. The important detail that gets lost in this Rupture Warrior Strain conversation is the mechanic if you were hosting the party or not. Helldivers 2 uses a P2P or peer-to-peer system, and that means, as far as I know, whoever owns the ship is the host. They retain all control over session creations, like picking the map and location. They have full control over squad management, and they also have control over latency arbitration. So only when you were hosting would you see the insta attacks from the Warriors. Clients, think of them as people joining in on the host session, would not see those crazy bug pounces. In fact, as I spoke with some of these people that had posted, they were telling me the Warriors were actually slow, stupid, and seemed out of it, which told me that they were clearly not hosting the session party. Now, I've played as both, the host and through the matchmaker on the Rupture Strain, difficulty 10, and I can tell you with 1,000,000% certainty that the differences were night and day between what the host would see and what clients would see. The issues arose and were actually made worse in yesterday's patch, and this is what I was getting at, and it was that instead of addressing the host problems of those insta-pounces and crazy damage by possibly creating a bigger parry window for the host, the devs had instead passed along that crazy playing as the host feel to everyone in the party so everyone could share in the host's pain. We saw this confirmed yesterday in the official Helldivers Discord when JoJo, the QA lead, made statements that they had not buffed the Rupture Warriors, which was actually true. The devs had not made them stronger. They had just spread the Warrior host love across everyone in the session, which was explained with this. Here's what he said, quote, "We fixed a networking issue where certain enemies, including the Rupture Warrior, would have trouble targeting players that weren't the host. This is a lot more straightforward to fix than tweaking the attacks and was causing some networking issues. So it's unfortunate that the fix means more people are getting hit by an arguably unfair attack, but it was a needed fix. We are looking into how the Rupture enemies have landed, but that's a broader issue. Translation, fixing the networking issues with the Warriors attacking the host was really difficult, so they instead changed it over so that everyone got the same attention from the Warriors. But with today's announcement, they've now changed all that. Arrowhead backtracked on yesterday's decision and has also given us a peculiar time frame of 5 weeks until they will be installed back into the game. The Rupture Strain I'm speaking of. And I have to ask, are we looking at some sort of major story arc development here with the bugs happening in 5 weeks? Because time frames and firm deadlines is something Arrowhead doesn't really do. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we're already seeing some posts complaining about the removal of the Rupture Strain for further development as somehow it's a negative, how it is removing content from the game, dropping comments like, "RIP 5 weeks, but here's where I'm going to weigh in, and I know that stats and numbers aren't everything, but last night, after yesterday's patch and news, we touched an insanely low player count overall in the game, the lowest we've seen in quite a while, which was partially, not fully, but partially fueled by yesterday's news, along with some new player fatigue, which I'm going to say is all natural. But the announcement to pull down the Rupture Strain, I think, is a good thing, and let me explain. The host-client difference in the way these things played was insane, and outside of dedicating a large portion of your build into spammable items you would shoot and throw on the ground, the Warriors were a major annoyance. I have to say, I genuinely feel that the concept of the burrowing bugs is a sound one. They have a place in the game, and they force divers to be aware of bugs now on 3 levels: on the ground, in the air, and of course underground. But unless you were constantly spamming AoE all around you in a 360, these things would get through. And if that happened, there was no counter for what they were about to do with you. Again, speaking as someone that tried everything from backpacks to preemptive melees as the host. Overall, I didn't see the posts and statements from players on Reddit and over in the official Discord, or my comments for that matter, as people that were crying out looking for an easier Helldive gameplay experience. Actually, far from it. I mean, you see my footage for the videos. That's really me playing on Super Helldive difficulty, and me and the squad over in Discord, well, we love the challenge of Super Helldive. But these things, again, at least for the hosts of the sessions, were busted. Imagine for a moment if Chargers were guaranteed a 100% chance to run you over even if you dodged and dove at the exact perfect moment. What would you think if bots had 1,000,000,000% accuracy against you, but it only applied if you were the session host? For the other 3 members of the squad, the Chargers never hit them, and the bots had the accuracy of rookie stormtroopers. I mean, it's the same idea here, just with the Rupture Strain. So yeah, I'm all for taking these bugs back to the workstation, getting them right, and into a consistent place for all members of the team, and then redeploying them back into the game as part of some major operation. But in the meantime, pay close attention to their substitutes, which I would guess will probably be Predator Strain bugs. That's my 2 cents though, and like always, we may agree or we can agree to disagree, but you know, at the end of the day, we can still be friends and we can all dive together. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my future upload alerts. Drop a comment about these changes and let's get a healthy discussion going. Thanks to all of our channel members, and until the next one, this is 𝐷𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 signing off.